People always assume working the night shift is boring. I used to say the same thing when I started at Harrison's Corner Mart. Just a quiet corner store on the edge of Boise, not even close to anything cool or dangerous. I took the job at 22, mostly because I needed rent money and didn't have the kind of resume that makes people call back. The first few weeks were slow. Nights blurred into one another. Energy drinks, lottery tickets, the occasional drunk walking in like they'd forgotten what they came for. The kind of job where your brain drifts if you're not careful. But I didn't mind. No manager hovering, no coworkers to small talk with. Just me, the camera monitor, and a baseball bat under the counter I never thought I'd need. That Thursday night was different. The cold was sharp, even through the thick glass of the storefront. The heater had been rattling since midnight, spitting out half-warm air like it had a grudge. At around 2:30 a.m., I was reading an old paperback someone had left behind the register when the bell over the door gave a single soft chime. I looked up. Guy in his early 40s. Windbreaker, jeans, clean shoes. Not twitchy, not drunk. The kind of man who'd blend in at a DMV or a bus stop. But the second he stepped in, my stomach tightened. Not because of what he did, just the way he was. He walked slow, not browsing, just moving. His hands stayed in his pockets the whole time. He circled the store once, then made his way to the counter without picking up anything. I stood, the paperback still open in my hand. He stopped a few feet from me and smiled. "You're Benji, right?" My first instinct was that maybe he was a customer I'd helped before. But then he said, "You live near that school on 8th Street, yeah?" My heart stopped. I didn't wear a name tag. I never told customers where I lived. Hell, I didn't even talk to half the people who came in here. I blinked. He just kept smiling. "Your dad works at that heating place, doesn't he? Old red truck. Still runs?" I swallowed hard. "What do you want?" I asked. Tried to make it sound firm, but my voice cracked halfway through. He didn't answer. Just glanced up at the ceiling toward the security camera, then back at me. One last look, too long, too calm, and he turned around and walked out without a single word. That was it. I stood there behind the counter for another minute, waiting for the fear to pass. It didn't. I checked the monitor. The guy was gone. No car in the lot, no sound. Just the low hum of the fridge behind me and my own breath echoing too loud in the empty store. At 3:01 a.m., the bell rang again. 2 men this time. Both wore hooded sweatshirts, pulled low. One tall, one stocky. The tall one walked in first, calm like he owned the place. The other came in fast behind him, glancing over his shoulder as if someone was chasing them. There was no doubt about it. They weren't here to shop. Before I could even open my mouth, the tall one stepped forward, pulled up his hoodie sleeve, and revealed a short barrel of a gun wrapped in cloth. "Back door," he said. "Now. Lock yourself in the bathroom. Don't be stupid." I froze. The stockier one moved behind the counter fast, too fast, and opened the drawer like he knew exactly where it was. I felt myself moving on instinct, backing away slowly toward the bathroom down the hall. My fingers fumbled on the lock, and then I heard one of them say it. "Hurry up. He said it's in the bottom drawer," he said. I didn't realize I was holding my breath until I was in the bathroom, door locked, knees practically knocking together. My phone was in my back pocket. I pulled it out with shaky hands and whispered into the speaker as I dialed. 911, what's your emergency?" "There are 2 men," I whispered. "Corner of 9th and Hillside. Harrison's Corner Mart. They're robbing the place. One's got a gun. Please hurry, please." "Can you stay on the line?" But I couldn't. Not with my pulse thundering in my ears and a distant clatter coming from the other side of the door. I ended the call and stood there, trying not to breathe too loud, trying not to throw up. I could hear drawers being yanked open, the register slamming shut, the sound of glass breaking, probably the display case with the vape cartridges, and then, bottom drawer, under the register. He said it'd be there. I held my breath. Who was he? The guy from earlier. The one who knew my name, my dad, where I lived. It clicked then, in that moment of panic. This wasn't random. This wasn't two guys deciding to rob a random store at 3 a.m. This was planned. They knew where the register backup drawer was. They knew the security system hard drive was under it. They didn't come for beer or money. They came for that. A cleanup job. And the guy who walked in before them? He scoped the place, looked at the camera, got what he needed and left. This was precision. Surveillance. I waited what felt like an hour, but it was maybe 5 minutes before I heard the bell again. The door shutting. The silence that followed was even worse than the noise. A soft creak on the linoleum outside the bathroom. Then, nothing. When the cops finally arrived, I still hadn't moved. My legs barely worked as I unlocked the door and stepped out, nearly colliding with an officer's flashlight beam. They swept the store, took statements, logged the inventory loss. The backup drive from the security system was gone. No useful fingerprints, no shell casings, no footage. They knew exactly what they were looking for, the officer said. Probably an inside tip, maybe a former employee. I shook my head. I don't think so. Because I knew. This was something worse. I didn't go home after that. I sat in the back of the squad car until sunrise, staring at the dark windows across the street, half expecting the man in the windbreaker to reappear. I kept thinking about the way he'd said my name, the ease in his voice, the way he made it feel personal, like he knew me, even though I'd never seen him before in my life. By 7 a.m., my boss showed up. He looked more annoyed than concerned, asking if I remembered to lock the cigarette cabinet before the robbery. I quit on the spot. That morning I drove back to my apartment. Every light was on and I checked the closets, the shower, under the bed. I barely slept. I couldn't stop thinking. If they'd wanted to hurt me, they could have. Why didn't they? Because they didn't need to. They got what they wanted. That's what scared me most. They didn't care about me. I was just background. They knew my schedule. They knew how I worked. And after that night, I knew one thing for certain. They'd been watching. Not just that night, before. My routines, my roots, my family, my address. I checked my social media, locked down my profiles, deleted old photos. Paranoia wasn't paranoia anymore. It was caution. I didn't hear anything from the cops after that. No follow-up calls, no arrests. It just disappeared. The story never made the news. 2 weeks after the robbery, I saw the man again. Not in person, on a security feed. I'd gone to visit my friend Dave, who worked nights at a used tire shop. We were in the back room on break, and I happened to glance up at the old monitor cycling through the parking lot cameras. There he was. Same windbreaker, same smile. Just standing in the back alley near the dumpster, hands in his pockets, not looking at the tires, not dumping anything, just standing. I froze. Dave looked at me. "What's up?" I pointed. "That guy. Have you seen him before?" He squinted. "No idea. Why?" I didn't answer. I just stared at the screen until it switched to the next camera. By the time we toggled back, he was gone. No vehicle, no motion alerts, nothing. I left early that night, my stomach in knots. It didn't feel over. It felt paused, like I'd passed a test I didn't know I was taking. But that was the last time I saw him. No more strangers, no weird calls, no letters, no unmarked cars outside my building, just silence. That, in itself, was terrifying, because I wasn't sure which was worse. The moment when danger was obvious, or the one where you couldn't tell if it was gone. It's been a year. I moved out of Boise, changed jobs. I don't work nights anymore, and I don't live near any corner stores. I don't use the same email. Got a new number. I keep a bat by the door and a light on by the window. There are still nights when I wake up sweating, convinced someone is in the hallway. I check locks 3 times. I don't walk to my car without checking the back seat. I don't park in the same spot every day. It's a strange thing, feeling like prey in a world where no one else even knows there was a hunt. Most people assume robbery victims are either lucky or unlucky. Wrong place, wrong time. But sometimes it's neither. Sometimes you're targeted without even knowing it. And sometimes, the people who come for you only need to come once, because they weren't after you. You were just standing in the way of something they already knew how to get. And that's what I've come to understand. Some people don't need to threaten you or chase you. They just need to know you. And once they do, they never have to come back. Real danger rarely announces itself. It doesn't always wear a mask or shout threats. Sometimes it's the man who smiles and walks away. The stranger who knows your name, your street, your story. In a world more connected than ever, privacy is protection, and patterns are weaknesses. Stay aware, be unpredictable, and trust your instincts, especially when the world goes quiet. They say you don't really know how lonely a building can feel until you're the only heartbeat in it. That's what I remember most about my first few nights at Pearlview Tower. The silence. The kind that doesn't hum or settle but sits in your gut like static. I'd taken the job out of necessity more than choice. After my divorce and the collapse of my landscaping business, courtesy of a record-breaking rainy season and one lawsuit too many, I needed something quiet, stable, and free of people asking me how I was doing. Midnight security? Perfect. Pearlview wasn't a high-rise, not flashy. 12 floors, mostly law firms, financial advisors, a tech startup on the 7th floor trying way too hard. Nothing anyone would care about. The night shift was simple. Monitor cameras, do 3 rounds, log any unusual activity. That's it. Lock the front entrance at 10, make sure nobody's left inside by 11. Easy. I liked the stillness, I liked the control. That changed on the 11th night, 12:32 a.m. I was logging my second round when I noticed a black Nissan idling under the busted streetlight across the road. Not parked illegally, but something felt off. 2 men sat inside. No lights, no talking, just there, watching. I chalked it up to Tacoma's late-night weirdos. I logged it, even snapped a photo on my phone, and moved on. But they came back. Every night, like clockwork. Same time, same car, same 2 men. It wasn't curiosity anymore. It was a pattern. They never stepped out again. Never looked around. Just sat still, like statues behind glass. By week 3, I brought it up to my supervisor. Mitch, a guy with too many sports stickers on his clipboard and not enough care in his bones, told me, "Jake, parking lot's public, not our turf. If they ain't causing trouble, don't give them a reason to." But trouble doesn't always start with noise. It starts with silence that lasts too long. Tuesday night, 12:47 a.m. Rain had just stopped and the streets glistened under the orange glow of Tacoma's streetlights. I stepped outside for a smoke, even though I'd quit 6 months ago. The kind of quit where you still keep 1 cigarette in your glove box, just in case. 5 minutes, tops. That's how long I was outside. When I got back in through the employee ramp, something caught my eye. The fire exit latch by the south stairwell was hanging off. Bent. The industrial padlock, cut clean. No alarm had gone off. I froze. Back at the booth, I scrolled through the camera feeds. My fingers were sweating. There, 12:41 a.m., 2 men walking right through the fire exit I'd just found broken. One had a duffel bag, the other something metal in his hand. Could have been a crowbar, could have been worse. They weren't rushing. They weren't glancing over shoulders. They knew where they were going. Then the footage cut. Static, white noise. 20 minutes of silence on every camera inside the building. When it came back, they were gone. Clean. No faces. No sign of entry or exit. My hands shook as I picked up the phone. Cops arrived in 10. They reviewed the footage. One of them, a young officer who looked like he still believed the world made sense, slowed the footage down, frame by frame. At 12:43 a.m., one of the men walked past the booth window. My booth window. The same booth I had just stepped back into. He was inches away, and I never knew. The police didn't waste time. Turns out, when corporate hears the words security breach, everyone suddenly forgets you were just the night guy. They asked about everything, my patrol routes, break times, even when I used the restroom. They weren't rude, just suspicious, like maybe I was in on it. I wasn't. They brought in IT. A guy from the fourth floor law firm confirmed their digital archive was accessed during that 20-minute blackout. Backup drives gone, passwords reset. It wasn't just theft, it was surgical. The law firm had once represented a multi-million-dollar biotech company, one of those hush-hush clients who settle things with NDAs and seven-figure checks. I wasn't told what was on those drives. I wasn't supposed to ask. But I knew this wasn't random. I knew they were watching me. Those weeks before, they'd been tracking my movements, learning my habits, waiting for that one moment I slipped. And I did. One smoke break, 5 minutes, that's all it took. After the cops left, management changed protocols, upgraded cameras, hired a second guard for rotation. But I stayed, because now I needed to know if they'd come back. Weeks passed. I changed everything. No more outdoor breaks. I walked new patrol routes every night, kept pepper spray on my belt and a flashlight that could double as a club. I started noticing things. The occasional flicker of a motion sensor in a hallway I hadn't entered. A sound on the 8th floor when no one should be there. Nothing concrete, just fragments. One night I heard the service elevator creak to life. My monitor didn't show movement, but I followed the sound. It stopped on floor 4, where the drives were stolen from. The hallway was dark, empty. Then, on the carpet, I saw it. A boot print. Faint, still damp. I searched every corner that night, room by room, closet by closet. Nothing. They were inside again, or had been. They were taunting me. After that, I changed my shift to overlap with the second guard. I stopped walking full patrols alone. I even left a recorder running during my breaks. And once, I caught breathing. Not mine. Not the other guards. Just breathing. Right outside the booth. It's been months now. The police closed the file. No arrests, no suspects. Just one note in the incident report. Professional intrusion, likely targeted. They said I did everything right, that I was lucky. But luck doesn't leave boot prints. I still work nights. I still walk those same halls. But I don't feel safe anymore. Not really. Now I check every window twice. I watch the monitors like I'm waiting for a war to start. And I don't smoke. Not even just in case. Because here's what I learned. They weren't looking to rob the place. They were looking for a moment. One moment. A crack in the schedule. A weakness. And when they found it, they didn't just walk through it, they owned it. Evil doesn't always kick down the door. Sometimes it waits, patiently, for you to leave it unlocked. I've always been a night guy, not because I love the dark or have some tragic backstory to tell. I just like quiet. I like routine. I like the way most people are too tired after midnight to pretend to be anything they're not. That's the truth about nights. The mask slips. You get to see what people are really made of, especially in a place like the Furnace. I started there 6 months ago, working floor shifts from midnight to close. It's one of those underground clubs that doesn't advertise but is always packed. It's all bass, sweat, bad lighting, and cash-only drinks. I'd bus tables, take out trash, mop floors, and keep my head down. That last part, keeping my head down, that's always been my thing. It got me through high school without fights, through my mom's funeral without breaking down, and now through rent payments while I took night classes at the community college. Detroit's not an easy place to live cheap, but the Furnace paid just enough to make it work. That Sunday started like all the rest. I clocked in a little before midnight, slipped on my apron, and hit the floor. You could feel the sweat in the air, mixed with spilled vodka and bad perfume. The DJ had the walls shaking and the booths were already full. Most of my shift was just movement. Wipe tables, collect glasses, dodge elbows. Around 1:10 a.m., I noticed a guy sitting alone in the back booth. Skinny, probably mid-20s, white t-shirt clinging to him like he'd just stepped in from the rain. Looked nervous, tapping his leg like it was keeping time with his anxiety. I only really noticed him because of what happened next. A couple sat down across from him. The man was older, clean-cut, expensive suit. The woman didn't say a word, just watched. The suited guy leaned in close to the skinny one, said something low, and whatever it was made the kid pale. Hands started shaking. He nodded, quick, desperate. Then the couple stood and vanished into the crowd like ghosts. That was the first time I saw David. Didn't know his name yet. Just knew something was off. The rest of the shift blurred like most do. Cups, sweat, music. Around 2:08, I took a trash run out back. Rain had started, light but cold. I opened the alley door, headed toward the dumpsters, and nearly tripped over him. David. Face down, blood pooling under his head, body twitching like he was mid-seizure. No one else around. I dropped the bags. Instinct took over, pulled off my flannel and pressed it to his head, grabbed my phone, called 911. My hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped the phone twice. I stayed there, crouched in the rain, holding pressure to the wound, whispering, "You're okay, man. Stay with me." Like that would actually help. He gripped my wrist once, tight, then let go. The medics came quick. One of them said, "You probably saved his life." I didn't feel like a hero. I felt cold, soaked, and like something bad had just started. Back inside, everything was still moving like nothing happened. Music, drinks, dancing, like someone hadn't just almost died out back. When I was clocking out, Darius, one of the bouncers, pulled me aside. He looked at me like he wasn't sure if he should say what came next. "You know who that kid was?" I shook my head. David Carlone, Lenny's brother. Just hearing that name chilled me. Lenny Carlone, a name that meant power in the East Side. Ran rackets, gambling, gun flow, and rumors that didn't end in newspapers, just disappearances. People whispered it. You didn't mess with Lenny, and you sure didn't cross him. Apparently David had. I didn't sleep much that night. Couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw his blood in the gutter. The way his fingers curled, twitching. The look in his eyes when he grabbed my wrist. I kept wondering what he'd been trying to say. The next night I showed up like nothing happened. Head down, floor mop in one hand, bottle of cleaner in the other. That's how it works in this city. You keep moving or get swallowed up. I was on my second trash run when it happened. Out back, same alley, same busted light buzzing above the door. Two men leaned against the brick wall, black hoodies pulled low. One of them lit a cigarette, slow and steady. "You talked to the cops?" he asked, voice calm, flat. "No," I said. "I just called the ambulance." The second guy stepped forward, face mostly shadowed. He smiled, but it wasn't a friendly smile. "Good," he said. "That's all you saw, right? Just a drunk accident. Slipped on the curb." I didn't answer. Didn't need to. They were already turning away, walking off into the darkness like they had somewhere else to be. And that was the moment I realized I was no longer invisible. I was part of it now. The detectives came 3 nights later. Showed up at closing. 2 of them. One young. Looked like he still believed in doing good. The other, older, tired eyes. Like he'd seen too many kids lying in alleys. They asked me what I saw. I looked down at the mop bucket, then back at them. Said David was alone. Said I didn't see anyone else. They asked again, more direct. "Did you see who attacked him?" "No," I said. "Didn't see anything." They nodded, took notes. Left me with a card and a vague warning. "If anything comes back to you, give us a call." But nothing came back. Not the courage to speak. Not the clarity to know if silence meant safety or cowardice. I still work the same shift, still walk home at 3 a.m. But now every set of footsteps behind me makes my skin crawl. Every time I hear a car slow near the curb, I flinch. Because silence? It doesn't protect you. It just marks you. I've kept the flannel I used to stop the bleeding. Washed it twice, but the stain won't come out. Sometimes I think about tossing it, but I never do. That kid's gone now. Moved. Disappeared, maybe. Or worse. Nobody talks about him anymore. The furnace keeps spinning. Beats keep pounding. Drinks keep flowing. But I move slower now. Watch more. I know there's a moment coming. Maybe next week, maybe next year. Where I'll have to decide again. Speak or stay silent. Act or survive. And when it comes, I hope I'm braver. But for now, I just keep my head down and my eyes open. Sometimes doing the right thing isn't loud. It's quiet. It's scary. It's done alone. But silence, when it serves fear, doesn't protect your future. It just chains you to your past. I never thought silence could be so loud until the night it followed me home. My name is Samantha Clay. I'm 27, originally from Birmingham, and I work nights as a receptionist at Bay Ridge General Hospital in Mobile, Alabama. The ER front desk, specifically. Not the most glamorous gig, but it pays steady, keeps me busy, and most of the time I like it. I'm good at staying calm, keeping my head down, doing my job. That's the thing about working nights. You start to appreciate the predictability, even the chaos. It becomes background noise. The bleeps of monitors, the rushed footsteps of nurses, the sharp bark of a doctor asking for vitals. Drunks slur complaints about their backs. College kids roll in with busted lips and tequila regrets, and every now and then, someone genuinely clings to life. But even that feels distant when you're behind a glass window and a name tag. I started the shift like any other. It was a Wednesday night, calm enough. A couple of minor car accidents came through around midnight. A girl passed out from dehydration, and an older man with chest pains who ended up just being gassy. Around 2:50 a.m., I was mid-sip of my third coffee when a man stepped up to the desk. He looked about early 40s. Neatly dressed in slacks and a pale button-up, his hair slicked back like he was headed to a wedding. Except something felt wrong. Not in any obvious way. He wasn't twitchy or aggressive, it was the opposite. He was too calm, too still. "I'm looking for a patient," he said, voice low, measured. "Name?" I asked, already typing into the system. "Hannah Smith." Common name. I ran it through the system anyway. Nothing. "I'm sorry, sir. No one by that name has been admitted here tonight. Are you sure she came to Bay Ridge?" He stared at me for just a second too long. Then he gave this little smile, not warm, not angry, just empty. "I see, thank you," he said. He turned and walked out through the sliding glass doors. I shrugged it off. People wander into hospitals confused all the time. Maybe he was at the wrong place. Maybe he made it up. My shift ended just after 3 a.m. I grabbed my bag, waved goodnight to Marla, the charge nurse, and headed for the staff lot. That's when I saw it. A black truck, older, heavy-duty, was parked diagonally across from my car, the only other vehicle in the lot. And there he was, the same man, leaning against the driver's door, arms crossed, staring straight at me. He didn't speak, didn't move, just watched. I felt a chill crawl across the back of my neck. I kept my pace steady, pretending I didn't see him. Got into my car quickly, locked the doors before the seatbelt was even on. Still, he didn't move. I drove off fast, checking my mirrors the whole time. Nothing followed me. Or so I thought. I lived alone in a basement apartment behind an old duplex on Wilcox Street. Small place, but quiet, tucked between some overgrown hedges and a broken fence. I usually liked how removed it felt. That night, I hated it. It was 3:30 a.m. by the time I pulled into the gravel spot beside the gate. I killed the engine and sat for a moment, telling myself I was just rattled. Weird guy, sure, but maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe he'd left before I did. Maybe he wasn't waiting for me at all. But the feeling in my gut disagreed. It felt like a warning. I unlocked the gate and walked down the narrow path to my unit. As I reached the door, I heard it. Footsteps behind me. Fast, running. I spun, hard in my throat. But the path was empty. I didn't wait. I shoved my key into the lock, got the door open, and slammed it shut behind me. Deadbolt, chain, every lock I had. Silence. Then, a soft tap 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 on the peephole glass. Not a knock, a tap. Gentle, patient. I backed away from the door, breathing hard, grabbed my phone with shaky hands and dialed 911. 911, what's your emergency? There's someone outside my apartment, I whispered. He followed me from work. Is he trying to break in? No, he's just standing there, tapping on the glass. Police arrived 10 minutes later. When I finally opened the door, they found no one. They checked the yard, the street, even my windows. Nothing. I felt like I'd imagined it. Until one of the officers called out, "Ma'am, you said you drove home from work, right?" I nodded. He popped open the back seat of my car. Come take a look. There was an indentation in the rear seat cushion. Faint, but clear, like someone had been sitting there. And stuck to the inside door handle was a long black hair. He'd been in my car the entire drive. The next day, I didn't sleep. I just sat on my couch, lights on, every curtain drawn. Every creak in the pipes felt like footsteps. Every car that passed made my heart jump. I called the hospital and told them I couldn't do nights anymore. No explanation. Just, I need to move to day shift. They agreed. Probably thought it was burnout. I didn't care. The police took a report. The security footage at Bay Ridge showed him walking in, then out. Calm as ever. No license plate on the truck, no ID, no fingerprints, nothing to follow. He was a ghost. I changed apartments within 2 weeks, moved across town, bought pepper spray, a personal alarm, switched my locks twice. But some things don't go away just because you move. The fear clings to you. Every time I drive at night, I check the back seat. Sometimes twice. A month passed, then 2. No calls, no sightings. I almost convinced myself it was over, that maybe he'd found someone else to haunt. Until I got an envelope in the mail. No return address. Inside was a single Polaroid photo. It was blurry, dark, but I recognized the subject immediately. It was me. Sitting at the front desk at Bay Ridge, head down, typing. Taken from behind glass. It wasn't just the photo. It was the message. He'd been watching me long before I saw him. I gave the photo to police. They said there wasn't much they could do. No fingerprints again. No surveillance nearby. They told me to stay alert, to call them if anything else happened. But nothing ever did. He just disappeared again. I work days now. Different hospital, different city even. I still sleep with a motion sensor light in my hallway. I still check my peephole twice. I still won't park in underground lots. I'm better mostly. But sometimes when I drive home late and stop at a red light, I feel it. That same tension at the base of my neck. Like someone's behind me, just out of sight. What scares me the most isn't what he did. It's what he didn't do. He didn't yell, didn't chase, didn't break down my door or scream threats. He waited. Quietly. Intentionally. Calm. And in that silence, he took away something bigger than safety. He took away the space I had to feel invisible. We often teach ourselves to fear loud danger, the kind that screams or crashes in. But the most frightening threats are often the quietest, the ones that wait, watch, and blend in. Trust your instincts. Don't brush off that uneasy feeling. Because sometimes survival isn't about bravery. It's about believing your own fear. Working nights in a children's hospital is an odd mix of peace and dread. There's a stillness after midnight that settles over the 3rd floor like a thick blanket. Most of the kids are asleep. The beeping of monitors softens into white noise. Parents whisper lullabies into little ears or doze off in recliners. If you asked me 5 years ago if I'd feel at home in this place, I would have laughed in your face. But Riverview's pediatric ward became mine in a way I didn't expect. I'm Emily Ward, night RN. Been working here since I was 28. Now I'm 33, a little more tired, a little less easily shaken. Most nights are routine. Give meds, chart vitals, calm scared parents, walk the hall once or twice, nothing dramatic, nothing terrifying. Until one night, early Monday morning technically, it wasn't routine anymore. It was 2:17 a.m. I remember that because I had just written it at the top of my log sheet. I was sitting at the central desk with Luis, one of the newer nurses. He's sharp, funny, and skeptical of anything that can't be proven with lab results. The sound started low, knocking, soft and even. 3 short taps. It echoed faintly from down Hall B, the old unrenovated wing. That hallway had been closed off since the electrical fire 2 years ago. Smoke damage, asbestos rumors, budget cuts. They gave us all kinds of reasons. But none of us liked that end of the floor even before it shut down. "You hear that?" I asked. Luis looked up from his chart. Probably the damn pipes again. But I wasn't so sure. It wasn't random. It had a rhythm, like someone asking to come in. I stood. So did he. "You're not really going down there, are you?" he asked. "You coming with or staying here?" I smiled, hoping the joke would hide my nerves. He followed. The second we stepped into Hall B, the air changed. It smelled old, like burnt plastic and lemon cleaner. The walls still had water damage near the ceiling. Paint bubbled in one corner like skin under a sunburn. The lights flickered overhead, slightly delayed, like they had to think about turning on. Luis muttered something under his breath about infrastructure. Then we saw it. Room 317. Door ajar. Just wide enough for the hallway light to creep in. There was a child's wheelchair in the middle of the room, perfectly clean, unused. And on the tile floor beside it, one black Mary Jane shoe. I stepped closer, slowly. Luis stayed back. The room was silent except for our breathing. That's when I saw the writing, barely visible on the far wall near the baseboard. Crayon, blue. "Can I go home now?" I stared at it. My heart wasn't racing. It was thudding slowly, heavily, like it was trying to be quiet. Then we heard it. A giggle, quick, high, childlike, behind us. We both spun around. No one there. Luis was pale. "Okay, nope, that's it. I'm out. I'm not dying in a Scooby-Doo episode." We walked fast back to the desk. I didn't say anything, neither did he. I opened the monitor system, just habit. Each unused room had been disconnected from vitals months ago, but room 320, completely sealed since the fire, had just registered a heart rate spike. For exactly 6 seconds, we reported everything. To our supervisor, to maintenance, even to security. They ran checks. Monitors were malfunctioning. The hallway wiring was being assessed. The wheelchair? No record of it in our supply logs. We knew what we saw, what we heard. I kept working, but things weren't the same. 2 days later, a father from room 307 came to the desk, face pale. "This might sound crazy," he said, "but a red rubber ball just rolled into my daughter's room, from the hallway." I blinked. "From where?" He pointed down toward Hall B. "There's no one down there," I said gently. He shook his head. My daughter started crying. Said, "The girl in the dark corner doesn't want to play anymore." That stopped me cold. Room 320 had a corner, a shadowed one even in daylight. Over the next few weeks, more odd things happened. Faint music from nowhere. Dolls moved between rooms, crayon marks on the back of closet doors, like a child had been writing behind them. And always, that knocking. 3 slow taps. Once I stayed later than usual. 5:30 a.m. Shift change was running behind. I was walking toward the elevator when I passed the entrance to Hall B. It was dark, sealed with a temporary metal door now, but I heard it. 3 knocks. Then that same giggle, like a balloon deflating into laughter. I started looking through old files. Patient records from before the fire. Not official channels, just what I could access from the archives when no one was watching. I found a girl. Name, Clara Jensen. Age, 7. Admitted 2019. Diagnosis, neuroblastoma. She died on the 3rd floor, room 317. Her file was brief. No family listed beyond a mother who disappeared after Clara's passing. Social work notes mentioned the child believed she would go home soon, and frequent crying fits during nightly rounds. The final entry broke me. Clara keeps asking if she can go home. Patient passed away during an overnight shift. Staff reported unexplained monitor activity post-mortem. No further action taken. I felt cold reading it. All she wanted was to go home. Management sealed off Hall B entirely. Said it was for renovations. Maybe it was, but we all knew better. They moved storage into the basement, walled off the old nurse station, turned off the lights for good. I stayed. Nights are quieter now, but not in the comforting way they used to be. More like the silence before a child cries. Sometimes when I pass the old hallway, I swear I hear her. Not every night, but often enough that I've stopped trying to explain it away. The knocks are always the same. 3, slow, precise. And sometimes, just once or twice a month, I hear a whisper. Faint, like a child from behind a door. Can I go home now? I've started whispering back. You already did. Not all spirits are here to haunt. Some are just trying to finish a story that ended too soon. The living carry grief, but sometimes the forgotten carry it too. Listen carefully to what the silence hides. And when it knocks, don't always be afraid to answer. Compassion doesn't stop with the living. Sometimes the only piece left to give is acknowledgement.